when you're able to build a brand, people will do things for you. Like people will actually like spend their hard-earned time to be with you. So having these meetups, having these in-person workshops, having these uh, people are doing, the fun wellness events or run clubs. When you have that community, now you're almost like hedging against how the internet is going to go towards AI. And I think talking about building a brand, if you can show up online and offline, it'll make you a stronger brand as a whole in general.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, I got a repeat guest. I got someone who's local, a good friend of mine in our community here in San Diego, doing big things, helping hundreds of people scale their personal brands, social media content, using AI, all that good stuff. I got Brandon Fortino back for the second time. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Rich? How you doing?
Oh, man, doing amazing. We're in the middle of summer right now, and I am so excited. It's my favorite time of year. Sun goes down late, weather is warm, people everywhere, good energy, and it's just a great time of the year, man. I'm excited. How about you, bro?
Best time in San Diego. I think this is the reason why San Diego is the best place on earth, in my opinion.
It is. They call it America's finest city for a reason, my man.
That's right.
Anyways, hey, I'm so excited for today's episode. We're going to drop so much value and so much game. 8 hacks to level up your personal brand in 2025. Let's jump into it. Starting with number 1, clip farming. Brandon, what the heck is clip farming, man?
Oh my God. If you don't know what clip farming is, you're literally missing out in today's biggest opportunity to leverage your content. So basically, traditionally on these kind of podcasts, on these long forms, whether it's a YouTube, it's a live stream, or if it's a podcast, you have this one giant piece of long form videos. And traditionally, you would have your own team edit the video. But now there's a lot of creators like David Goggins, Tio Vaughn, Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, all of these guys, they're all leveraging something called clip farming, which basically means it's a bounty model on how you can get more viral. So let me explain how it works. Right now, there's apps out there or softwares like WAP where you can submit your long form videos, whether it's a stream, a podcast, or a long form video, or a YouTube video, and you can create requirements. Say you wanted to, if you get 10,000 views on this video and make it your own clip, you can get $50. And for every 10,000 views, you get $50, right? And you open this up, the floodgate to the world to be able to edit your content. Now, here's the pros and cons of that, right? The pros of it is you're going to get a ton more impressions, a ton more views on your actual content. And you don't really get to control where it's going to be posted from because a lot of these people are going to make their own accounts. Now, if your sole goal is to be known everywhere, clip farming is one of the most under-leveraged thing going on right now because not only that it can save you a lot of money, and you're actually rewarding a lot of the good creators that can clip your content and make it go viral. So let's say from this video, we can put out, quote unquote, a content bounty for if they can make 1 million views video, we'll give them $1,000. And for every million, it's like $1,000.
That's what I bonus out my media team, my editors. Right. $1,000 for 1 million views, $500 for 500,000 views, $250 for 250. But dude, love this. We're using leverage.
Right. And imagine like you're only doing that with your team member, which is probably 1 or 2 or 3 people. Now you're opening this up to the world to be able to do that. Somebody from the middle of Europe, or from Eastern Europe, or Indonesia, or Australia, something like that, can just make these viral content for you. And you can make in the description, make sure on the captions, it says, watch the full episode on my YouTube channel. You can make requirements within those bounty to make it work.
And they'll post them on the different platforms. And so they're already essentially split testing the content for you. You can see the stuff that doesn't work. And granted, a lot of the stuff is not going to work. But, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 will hit. And then boom, you can rip that and put it into your own channel, your own feed, and then bonus these people out. That's amazing. I didn't even know this is a thing until right before we started recording today.
It's actually one of the techniques that was popularized by Twitch streamers or just streamers in general. A lot of people like Kai Cenat, like Speed, or Aiden Ross, they use this to be able to just be known. That's why like they're just basically everywhere. And you see their content. It's not even from their actual page. Their actual page actually looks very clean, and everybody just cutting their stuff and is making money from
And this is
cutting
why,
their stuff.
like on the Explore page, you see people like some of these names, Conor McGregor, Andrew Tate, some of these people just popping up everywhere.
Right, exactly. And it's one of the most under-leveraged thing. If you're listening to this,
How long has this strategy been in place for? Because this is the first time for me hearing about it.
That's a good question. So I think
Ballpark.
I think it's been around for like a year, maybe a year or 2 years, I would say, but it hasn't gone as mainstream as it is now. And I think we're still in the early adoption phase of it because traditionally it wasn't as easy to have a platform to be able to do that. Traditionally, like you have to kind of uh, create like some sort of like a bidding process for a lot of these people, and there's no centralized platforms. But now a lot of companies are seeing this as a huge opportunity, and there are platforms out there that you can search on the internet when it comes to clip farming or content aggregating, that's what they call it. And you'll be able to easily put out these, I'd say like it's a job posting in a
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
like, oh, here, edit my videos
Mm,
as easily as possible.
I love it. All right, jumping into number 2, cloning yourself. This is some AI weird stuff. Cloning yourself. Break that down for me, Brandon Fortino.
And so if you think about it, in your last 24 hours, how many content that you saw on your TikTok, on your Instagram, on YouTube are AI? Take a guess.
Ooh, for me, like scrolling, and I'm pretty naive to it, I'd probably say like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20.
Right. It's probably a lot higher than that, to be honest. The thing about it is like nowadays AI gets so good to be able to replicate basically what we do, which is kind of weird in my opinion, right? But there are tools out there like HeyGen, for example, for us and some of our clients, we have been able to successfully like clone them, quote unquote cloning them. We basically created an avatar that can speak like them, acts like them, and we can even change the backgrounds at some times. And it reduces the amount of time that we actually record content. So what we do is we just created a really good script, pick a really, really good topic that people are actually naturally going to be interested in.
So crazy. So crazy.
Right. And we make sure in the edit that our editing team are creating all the visuals, all the transitions to make it look really good. There's actually whole pages out there in the internet. Like the one that I watch is a lot is Odd Marketing. I'm gonna give them a shout out because I think they're done a really great job of picking really good content, scripting it, and editing it to the way that I wouldn't even know that it was actually AI. But I'm so passionate about the content that it doesn't even matter. So
So give me an example. So if I clone myself, let's just say, you're saying we could go script whatever video you want in whatever background as well. So like you could go down to the water, you could go down and do a property tour and completely script this entire thing.
So the way you do it is you go to one of these websites. I use HeyGen, and we'll get basically a 5-minute recording of you in 4K, right? Of you talking, and you're talking in the tone that you want the AI to replicate. And then once it created your avatar, all we have to do is write the script, put the script on there, and you'll be able to basically see that video in like 3 minutes of you saying
Damn.
that. And imagine you can do that with so many different content.
Mm.
And when you're talking about the strategy, how we're going to incorporate this, you can post this on other, like maybe a secondary Instagram accounts or stuff like that, where you can literally like create this persona of you that doesn't require you to actually record, which I think is fascinating.
Crazy. And then if you think about like taking a step further, because you don't have to actually go in the field to shoot all of it, doesn't require any of your time, you can go and have different scripts and split test a bunch of different content via AI, see what works, doesn't work, and then ones that work, you obviously put on your page.
Or I think the leverage of that is also speed, because for some of our clients, let's say they're a real estate agent, they want to talk about market updates. Instead of having to figure out a time where them and I would like be able to go there and record and stuff like that, figure out what to say. Once they send us the news, we can create a script of that almost instantly, put it into their avatar. Now they can have a market update as soon as like in less than like 30 minutes of that thing hits. So I think the leverage of speed is going to be really, really valuable there.
Next one, split testing content. This one's big. This is something that we do a lot of. And I think, the top 1% of creators out there, I would even say the top 1% of the top 1% of creators out there are split testing content. The people that are successfully growing are all doing this. And it's simply this. Dan Martell does it. And this is, how he's completely 10x his brand in the last, 18 months. But basically, you have top of the funnel, right? And then, let's just say podcast, for example. We have an hour-long conversation. Well, there's a lot of potential clips in there. Which ones are we going to use? Which ones are we not going to use? We don't know what's going to work or what's not going to work. We have an idea, right? And so my team can go and test a ton of content on TikTok. My customers, my investors are not on TikTok. I don't really care if I grow on TikTok or not, but TikTok is a great testing platform because it shows it to a high percentage of your non-followers first. And so we'll test a ton of videos on TikTok. And a lot of videos we test on TikTok, you'll see never make it over to my Instagram. But the ones that perform on TikTok, we know, wow, people engage with this topic, people like the hook, and then we'll enhance that video and then put it over to Instagram. And now we're not shooting from the hip. And the idea behind split testing on TikTok is now every single video, because here's the truth. When you post bad content on Instagram, you lose trust, you lose followers. But if everything's split tested, you're now not shooting from the hip. Everything's been proven out. And now it goes to Instagram, and everything, you're putting out banger after banger after banger is the idea. And when you do that, the algorithm picks that up, and that's how it pushes your stuff out to people on the Explore page, people on the Discover page. And that's how new followers discover your page, and that's how you ultimately grow.
Right. My question to you, I'm curious about your split test. We do split testing for even myself and some of our clients too. What part of the content do you split test usually?
Typically the hook. So we could post the same exact video, and then it's just a different 3-second hook. And what we'll find is usually one of the hooks will significantly outperform the other. If neither perform, then we just don't move it over to my Instagram. It just gets tabled right there. Now, I would say more often than not, one hook significantly outperforms the other, and it's not even close.
Right.
We'll post them back to back.
Same goes with us. Like we split test a lot, some of the hooks that even I post as my own content. The other thing that I like to split test is actually the ending. So what we end up doing after we posted something, we see like where the drop-offs are, and maybe like if it's drop-offs like closer to the end, we take out like a whole sentence or two from the end, because what that's going to do is it's going to increase the average view duration of people in that video. And when we're reposting that, if it's already a good hook and it seems shorter, it cuts before like it gets boring.
Yes,
able to actually,
that's really
like,
good.
get
That's
some
really
stuff too.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always say, like, whenever you guys are posting content, like, you should watch it and ask yourself, where would you drop off if you were watching it and you didn't know yourself? But the best part about split testing is like the data will tell you, especially on TikTok, it will tell you like where people drop off, which is huge. Eliminate that part and then run it from the top, and then ask yourself again, what else can I do to improve the video? And then run it from the top again, remove that part, and then put it out there. But eventually you split test enough, and then you're putting out bangers on Instagram, and that's how you build trust at scale. But if you also want to approach it from a different perspective, split testing works great on Twitter, top of the funnel, and Threads. And those platforms don't penalize you for posting 8 times, 10 times a day. And so you can put all your ideas on Twitter, on Threads, and see which ones perform. And for anyone listening to this right now, if you have Instagram but you don't have Threads, download Threads. You're already going to have followers on Threads. You might as well post. But Twitter posting is like one of the easiest, dirtiest, raw ways to post. You don't even need a camera, right? You can be anywhere in the world, and it takes 3 minutes, 5 minutes to come up with the Twitter post, type it in, see how it does on Twitter and Threads, come back a day later, 2 days later. The ones that perform the best, those are the ones that you can literally move over to Instagram, post those as literally just screenshot them, and post those as Twitter posts on Instagram, either static or reel. If that performs, then you can repurpose that into a video, and then repurpose that into a YouTube video, a podcast episode. But it all starts at the top of the funnel and split testing.
I love that. I think that's a huge strategy. And like, I just don't leverage Twitter enough. And I think like that's something that's like, I need to get into it. Do you call it a tweet still, or what do you call it now?
Well, now it's X. I don't know what you call it. I still call it Twitter posting.
I call it a tweet
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're writing something that you're giving a little game though.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Shout out to Elon for that. Anyways, all right. Moving on to the next one, my man. Repurposing content. This is very important. Break it down for us.
It ties back down to kind of the whole idea that once you create a content, especially if it's video, I love video. That's my native platform. So I've been doing it for over 11 years now, ever since I was 14, making videos. You have so much things you can pull from it if you know what you're doing. Now, let me explain that. Let's say from this 1 hour conversation that we're going to do, we're going to have one long form podcast. Now, initially, you probably were thinking like, okay, this can be turned into like clips and shorts and all of that stuff, right? And then we can post that on Instagram, TikTok, and all the shorts platform, or the Reels platform, I guess you can call it. But I think there's so much more meat in that long form content that you can still pull from by repurposing it. So here's what I've done with my own podcast. From that one episode, we're going to cut it into 5-minute clips. So 5-minute clips, like we're going to put it onto YouTube. There's something that's interesting that we can put on there. So instead of 1 hour, now it's like 5 minutes and stuff like that. And then we turn that into shorts as well, where it can be like 60 seconds. And what we can also do is we can take the transcript from that long form video into some sort of AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude, all of them, and you can turn that into a blog post. Now, you can turn that into a blog post, in an SEO optimized blog post. You put that on your website. Now you're getting more traction on your website just from basically doing the same effort, right? And that is a nice thing to do, especially if you have a guest on your podcast. Like, oh, Rich, like here's the blog post that I wrote about you and our conversations. Check this out. Feel free to share that, right? You can also turn it into tweets, right? Or some of these like little mini like threads in a way. So I think people are leaving so much content on the table when they're not repurposing it correctly.
Hey guys, if you're looking to get into real estate investing, but you're like, hey, I don't have the time, but you want to participate in the passive income, the tax benefits, and the wealth building, my company, Summers Capital, partners with limited partners, people like yourself, and we go out and buy boutique hotels. We have a fund where we currently own 5 hotels, and we currently have a wait list for investors to participate with us. If you want to learn more to see if this is a fit for you, you can go to summerscapital.com/invest to inquire and get on our wait list and be notified next time we have an opportunity. Again, summerscapital.com/invest. Now back to the show.
Yeah, 100%. And this could be anything. I mean, if you guys jump on Zoom calls,
Perfect. Yep.
right? And it doesn't need to be like a Zoom call, like you're guesting on someone else's podcast. It could be a Zoom call and you're doing Q&A with a group of people, or maybe you're hosting a webinar and you can repurpose that webinar as a YouTube video or a podcast episode. Or if you have a online coaching business and you're doing group, Q&A to your coaching clients, boom, you can repurpose that, and that could be a podcast episode. It could be a YouTube video. There's so many ways to slice it. And even if you go speak, let's say public speaking, you can chop that up as well into another form of content. It can be short form. It can also be long form. There's so many ways to slice it and repurpose content. At the end of the day, you already shot all the content. You might as well you might as well use it.
Yeah.
And
you can even like turn it the next step. Let's say you want to create lead magnets from that speech that you did in person, or maybe that webinar, right? Like you can turn that now into an ebook or a free course, or what? Like once you do a lot of these, now it can be a form of lead getter for you or lead magnet for you, so that they can lead into your paid stuff, whatever that is, whether you're a coach or you're an agency or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then like even if you host, which we're going to talk on this one a little bit later, but if you host a live event or maybe a meet up in person thing, it's like, dude, like you might as well capture it. You're there already. So if people are there asking you questions, you can repurpose that into shorts as well. Go split test the shorts, see which ones work, see which ones don't work. But there's so many ways to repurpose and maximize your output because you're already putting in the same input. You might as well maximize all the other different wrinkles of output that you can put in there. And it all starts with repurposing.
The easiest thing I wanted to say about repurposing, the easiest thing you can do to repurpose your content, literally if you have a client call or a webinar that you're hosting, or maybe even you're speaking on a Zoom, just put up your phone camera, turn it sideways, horizontal, right next to you, buy like a $15 tripod from Amazon, and you'll be able to just record yourself. That's be a start to repurposing just empire.
Easy. All right, next up, this one's important. Posting on all platforms. Break it down for us, Brandon.
Oh my God, this is one of my favorite ones because I think it's okay to have 1 or 2 primary platforms that you want to double down on. For me, it's Instagram and YouTube. That's the 2 of my favorite ones. But I think when you're not posting on all the major platforms, which I'll tell you in a second, it's going to be a missed opportunity. And here's the reason why. When you are typing your name or your business name or anything, like on Google, let's say Brandon Fortino. If you were to search in Google search right now, Brandon Fortino, the first thing that comes up is not a sponsored ad. It's not even my website. It's Google Gemini. A lot of times people are only going to see the Google Gemini, at least I do, and I'm not going to read anything else. Now, where do they get that information? Right? People call it AI SEO. There's a lot of different words for it, but basically they pull out information from all of these different stuff that are out there about you. And when you're only posting on 1 or 2 platforms at most, you're going to be only showing up on those platforms. Now, when you do it to, I call it the major 5 platforms, which is Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Don't forget about LinkedIn. It's one of the most, in my opinion, one of the coolest platforms out there. Then, even though these content is the same, or let's say if it's a shorts, right? I always just post all the shorts the same way, slightly different captions maybe, and they'll be able, like these AI tools, will be able to gather information about you from all those platforms. So I think some people have preferences that, for me, I watch Instagram and YouTube the most. Some people watch TikTok and Facebook the most. Some people are on LinkedIn now as a content absorption
We're
kind
we're
of
getting on LinkedIn right now.
yeah. And people have their own preferences. So if you're not showing up everywhere, there's a missed opportunity for your brand to be grown there, no matter how big or how small it is. And I think it's so easy. You can use like the basic posting tools. I use one. You probably use one too. Like
What's the easiest way to repurpose your Instagram content to LinkedIn?
I basically just post the same video and then I created a LinkedIn caption for it. I copyright it and then I just post it on LinkedIn. I use a third-party tool called Metricool to do that, but there's so many out there. Like, the Hootsuite, the Sprout Social. Just pick whichever one you like the best. But yeah, with these tools, you're able to do that. And a lot of people are always like, oh, is that going to affect my impressions? They're going to affect my views. I still have gone like millions and millions of views with like using a third-party app, so I don't see any difference.
Yeah, and some of these different platforms are undervalued attention, have more undervalued attention than others, right? So, for example, Facebook right now is undervalued attention. I'll give you an example. We did not post on Facebook for a couple years. About 3 months ago, I synced up my Facebook and my Instagram. So whatever I post on Instagram automatically goes out to Facebook. And for the first few weeks, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, I didn't really have much engagement. And then all of a sudden, it just started popping off on Facebook. Everything's blowing up. And right now on Facebook, we're growing 30,000 to 40,000 new followers every single month, just posting the same content that we're posting on Instagram on Facebook, because there's just less creators on Facebook. And so guys, and that literally, it doesn't require more of our time to post on Facebook. We're already posting this content on Instagram and it just literally syncs up and it pushes that out on Facebook as well. And so getting a lot of views over there, right? Another one that is undervalued attention from what I know, or from what I've heard, is LinkedIn. So we're now just starting to post on LinkedIn. So if you guys listen to this and you like LinkedIn, go check it out. But more importantly, if you guys are looking to build your personal brands, get on all these different platforms. It doesn't take a lot more additional time to go post on all that stuff. You're already shooting the content. You're already showing up. You're already coming up with all the stuff. Just repurpose it and put it on all the different platforms. Other thing is this, you never know when one of the platforms could go away. TikTok almost went away. And so if you're all in on one platform and that's where you get 100% of your leads for your business, like if that platform goes away, you have key man risk, let's call it key platform risk of your business. And so you don't want to be all in on one platform, have all the different platforms. It doesn't take a lot of time to do it. So do it. Anyways, all right, next up, trial reels.
Trial reels.
This is big.
Man.
I know I'm not utilizing trial reels the way I should. I just posted a couple videos this past weekend. I'm going to start doing more breakdown trial reels and how we can use it to our advantage.
Yeah, I actually, I heard about trial reels when they first got it out, and I think a lot of creators have started using it here and there. And now it's pretty much, I think everybody that I know have access to it. And if you're not using it, I'd say you're missing out, because the difference between posting a trial reel and a regular reel on Instagram is the fact that trial reels will show your content to 100% new audience. That's the keyword, 100% new audience. Because when you're posting on your regular reels, they probably have like an 80-20 ratio or 70-30 ratio, where 70% new audience, 30% your current audience. That way they can balance that out. Instagram wants to be a social platform still where you can connect with your friends. But when you're posting on a trial reel, this is the place where you can split test things. You can split test your hooks, split test your messages, split test your content ideas even. And because it's 100% to new audience, it kind of forces Instagram to work by your side, because they want to show it to people that is going to like that type of content. So I would say I started using that. And I remember the first 2 posts that I posted in trial reels is like, performed okay. On a third one, I got like 3 million viewed video. I'm like, okay, so this thing's nice. Like, let's keep doing it. On my third one, I was like, okay, let's keep doing this, So what I do now is I post it on my regular Instagram as a reel and also as a trial reel. And if I wanted to test hooks and stuff like that, I do it on trial reel, because you can always make it public to your own audience again later. So there's no risk, literally zero risk.
Yeah. No, that's big. And another hack that actually works is you can take, I haven't done this yet, but from other people I know, other experts that are successfully growing on social. I know Dan Martell is doing this. We just had Sam as creative director on our 7-figure creator call. And this is one of the strategies they're implementing to grow Dan's brand. And they'll take all of his best videos and just post them every single day on trial reels. And it doesn't penalize you for posting a lot. And so like anyone can do this, especially if you have a bunch of content, right? So you can take all your best performing clips and post 2, 3, 4 of them every single day. Those clips are going to go out. They're going to perform in the marketplace. They've already been proven out. And then new followers are going to see it. They're going to click on your page, and then you are going to grow as a byproduct of it via trial reels. And so definitely a strategy to implement if you guys want to grow. All right, next up, hosting in-person events. Brandon, I've been hosting a meetup for 6 years now.
That's how I
Since
met you.
2019. That's how we met. Yeah, at the Beers and Deals meetup here, real estate investing meetup here in San Diego. I'm a big fan of meetups, and I think with the way AI and technology is evolving, it's like you don't know who's who, you don't know who's real, who's not real. Well, one way to stand out in this AI marketplace is host live events. You cannot fake a live event. Brandon, break this down.
Have you heard of the internet debt theory, Rich?
No, I haven't. What does that mean?
So the internet debt theory is basically this theory that sooner we're heading towards this direction where with all the AI content, AI ads coming up, I'm pretty sure they're going to regulate it soon, but we're going to start to feel as a consumer that everything in the internet is going to be could be fake, right? So it doesn't mean that you should stop creating content. I think there's a place where the great creators are going to stand out from the noise. But the internet debt theory is basically saying like people are going to have the sentiment towards content created on the internet that everything there could be AI, could be fake. And the only thing that's going to replace that feeling, that's going to make it feel real, is the in-person experiences. You've seen all the creators have meetups now. You've seen all the big business person, the Dan Martells, the Alex Morris, they have in-person experiences to build that genuine community. Because in my honest opinion, having followers and having impressions is cool. It's leverage. But to me, it's like, what is the follow through in that? If you say like you're going to show up somewhere, will people actually come for you? That's to me is the ultimate test, whether or not you build a community or you build a brand. Because when you're able to build a brand, people will do things for you. Like people would actually like spend their hard-earned time to be with you. So having these meetups, having these in-person workshops, having these people are doing, the fun wellness events or run clubs. When you have that community, now you're almost like hedging against how the internet is going to go towards AI. And I think talking about building a brand, if you can show up online and offline, it'll make you a stronger brand as a whole in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about the community at the end of the day. Hosting live events, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot of work. So there's definitely a cost to it, right? It's time consuming. You got to market the event. You got to get people to show up. You got to have check-in. You're typically going to do name tags. You got to get everyone's information, email, phone number. You got to input that into your system so you can do a weekly newsletter and continue to market your live events. You host Margarita and Mingles here in San Diego with a couple of your co-hosts. We've been hosting Beers and Deals, San Diego's largest real estate meetup, since 2019. And back then, I was doing it all. I was doing the check-ins. I was doing the marketing emails. I was doing the the name tags. I was inputting all the information into the CRM so we can push out more and more stuff in marketing. But you know what? It started small and then it started to grow. And before you know it, you're going to start to build your meetup. You're going to start to build your ecosystem. And again, like I said, at the top of this rock right here, in the crowded AI space, where you don't know who's real, you don't know who's not real, this is going to become more and more and more important. I also think long form content like this,
correct,
podcasting, is going to become more important because you can't fake an hour-long conversation.
Right.
You can't.
It's more as like that time spent with your brand, right? When you're thinking about that, like when you're in person, you have that genuine, like literally live time spent with you. I know it's not as scalable as content, but which I think is still kind of have their own good qualities with it. But having that's like the most human thing you can do, which is having that in-person connection. I remember the first time I went to Beers and Deals, and I was actually in college when I was at Beers and Deals.
No way. That's
I didn't know
crazy.
anybody there. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is kind of foreign to me. But after you meet certain people, you start making friends. And I always think about one of my quotes from one of my high school coaches back then. It's either you build it, be a part of it, or you don't want to sit on the sidelines. Either you build the community and take the harder work, like creating the event, get people, become the hub, or at least participate in these online events and stuff like that. Or offline events, so that you can actually meet the people that built your brand that way so they can see you as being real, right? Don't just sit on the sidelines.
That's so good. And speaking of being real, that brings us to our last one. We're going to take this home. This might be the most important one out of all of them. Authenticity always wins. Break that down for us, Brandon.
Man, I would love your opinion on this too, because I think people nowadays, they're too afraid to take a stance of who they really are when creating content. One of the first things that I always talk to my clients when we're onboarding them is like, who do you want to be known for? What makes you you? Because yeah, we have these goals with our business and where we wanted to put content as, but I think the more real you are online and offline, it should be aligned, is the better you're gonna perform and grow your brand because people will gravitate towards that. A lot of the times people's mistake is like they're trying to box themselves in of like a certain way they should do things because they don't want to offend anyone or they don't want to be too crazy outside of the noise. But if your goal is to stand out, by definition, you have to stand out. And the way you stand out is by being yourself because you're unique as a person. Like you and I have different like things that we like. We've had different experiences in the past. Like you were doing the air traffic controller stuff before. Like you talked about that in your content. And I'm pretty sure that gravitated with a lot of your audiences. And same goes with me. I came in as an immigrant, right? And coming in here, becoming a US citizen, that also gravitated with a lot of different audiences. So I think staying true to yourself and not being afraid of really who you are and showcasing that to the world, I think is going to go so, like, it's going to be the differentiator.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. I've seen a lot of people, because consistency with content, personal branding, showing up every day, consistency always wins. And to take it a step further, I've seen a lot of people come into the content game, they start putting out content, they start a podcast, and then 3 months go by, and I'm like, where did these people go? They gave up. A lot of these people were my competition, right? Even my old partners, they gave up on the podcast. And so why? I think one of the reasons why a lot of people give up is because they're not being authentic. When you're not being your true self and you're like, putting forward this image that's not really you because you're trying to portray something that's you're not, it's hard to sustain that long term. And I think that's one of the main reasons why people give up on the content, because it's not authentic. They're not being true to themselves. For me, dude, I just let everything rip. The wins, the losses, like whatever. I'm very authentic. And that's how I carry my brand, whether it's, with our investors, with the hotels we're buying, with my team, our mastermind members, the podcast, all my podcast guests, everything is just 100% authentic. And so I don't ever have to worry about, oh, what am I saying? Because like everything is just real, right? And if someone doesn't resonate with that or my story, like that's fine. Like they don't have to listen to my stuff. They don't have to watch my stuff. I'm totally cool with that, right? Setting the correct expectation, being real, being authentic, and people recognize that. They can see, they know when you put out content if it's real or not, if it's genuine or not. At least I can see it when I see other people posting content. And so I challenge anyone listening to this. If you're out there trying to build your personal brand, you're trying to scale your content, be authentic, be real. I promise you it will pay off.
I agree. And I want to touch on that last point that you said about consistency. Like building a brand is a long-term game. You see some of the biggest brands in the world, Coca-Cola, LVMH, Airbnb, it takes them years to build these brands. And let's talk about personal brands. Like you have Mr. Beast, took him 7 years to be able to have attraction. Gary Vee, I think it's like 15 years, something like that, right? I think building a brand is a long-term game. And if you don't have the right mindset coming into it, and again, going back to the authenticity, if you can be consistently authentic and showcase your message, not being afraid, and keep doing that and believing that it will work, the payoff is so much bigger later on. But a lot of people just have short fuses and they want to see too short of a results. Like it took me probably like a while to get my first I think 3 million view videos. Remember, it's so 2024, right? To start getting that. And I think for all of those of you out there who are not seeing the traction, you're listening to this, take these information, be better every day. And when you're be able to do that and stick through it, I think kind of like you said, that's how you succeed.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is this, and this is kind of a key takeaway, is if, like you said, the content is the long-term play. It's not a short-term thing. It's not a get rich quick scheme by any means. It is a long-term play. But attention is the new currency and it is the future. And there's no doubt that if you have the personal brand, everything in your life is going to improve. Everything in your life is going to become a lot easier as a byproduct of it. For myself, just over 3 years ago, I didn't know anything about social media. I didn't know anything about content. And I started from scratch. And I've seen how it's changed my life in so many ways. And so I challenge anyone listening to this that if you're struggling with your content or maybe you're new to start your personal brand, I'm telling you right now, if you commit to this for 12 months, you can't do it for 2 months, 3 months and expect to see success, but you got to commit to it for 12 months. You're probably going to lose followers in the first 3 months. I lost followers in the first 3
I did
months,
too, yeah.
which is very discouraging, but you got to stick through it. But I promise you, if you commit to the game, social media content, podcasting, YouTube videos, and if you want to take it a step further, host some in-person events. But if you commit to all this, and it's not going to be pretty. If you go back and see my old content from 3 years ago, it was not very good. Oscar's sitting over there. He saw it from 3 years ago. I see it now. I'm like, oh, it kind of makes me like cringe because I'm like, oh, damn. But we all start from somewhere, right? And if you guys commit to it and you show up every single day and you post and you commit to just getting 1% better every single day, I promise you, you will look back 12 months from now and your entire life will change in so many ways, in ways that you never even thought were possible.
Clip that.
My man. Brandon, I appreciate you coming on, dude. Dropping so much game, so much value. Any last words of wisdom?
Keep going. I think that's it.
That's so good.
Be 1% better every day. That's
Brandon, where can the folks get in touch with you?
If you search me, Brandon.Fortino, everywhere on all the platforms, I exist. Google search me, Brandon Fortino. I'll be on there too.
I love it. I love it. He's Brandon Fortino. I'm Rich Summers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.